everybody, it's Star from H&S Designs Now. In this video, I'd almost forgotten to record my intro. Especially, I did not record what type of wire and tools that I was using. So that's what this is for. So to show you a little bit, because I did not take a picture either. I don't have a picture to show because it's a part one. It's not finished yet. But this is where we end the video at, if that makes sense. But we get to this point, and it'll make sense. If you watch it all the way through, it will make sense. But for the materials, I've used 18 gauge silver plated silver wire, which I'm hoping that it will look right side to you because I've got it on selfie mode. And then I'm also using my 26 gauge silver wire for the weaving wire. And I ended up pulling off, I want to say 20 inches of the 18 gauge base wire. And I think I pulled off about 2 arms length or arm spans. Which an arm span is literally from this hand stretched all the way out to this hand stretched all the way out. Just in case you don't know. And I ended up running short on one side, which you can see I've had to put extra in because it's this long and the other piece is only that long. So, and you're probably wondering, well, why is it a part one? When do we get to part 2? How's it going to turn out? That's the deal. I've gotten this far, and I have an idea of how I want to finish it, because I still have one more bead to add, okay? But I want your thoughts, your opinions. I kind of have a thought to add that bead right here, okay, above the larger one. But I kind of want to snake some more weave in there a little bit or something. But, you know, what do I do with all these extra wires? What are your thoughts and your opinions? If you will continue watching the video, I show how I start a weave, then I get off camera, I finish that up, get back on camera, we start a new set of weave, and just kind of go on. So it's kind of an imitation of Nichole Hanna's work. So it's not a copy that I know of. I hope not, because I haven't seen all of her work, all of her tutorials. But I don't think I've seen her do anything quite like this. So I hope and pray I'm not, you know, making something she's already made, because I'm not trying to. But it is, and her work is an inspiration for this. And I'm trying to make a matching set with the Eye of Jasper ring, but it's just a little different. Like with the Eye of Jasper ring, I did use brushed steel or brushed silver colored wire for the wrapping wire, along with my regular silver colored wire for my base wires. But with this, I'm only using the silver and the silver. So it's slightly different, but because I'm also using the jade beads, it's intended to match. So that's the tools, that's materials. I will put all that down in the description below. Please watch to the end. Please give me a thumbs up and a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Especially if you would like to see how this turns out, and for any other future tutorials. I'm actually also in the middle of filming a dragon's eye necklace. I'm filming it at the same time. Sneak peek, if I can hold it right. There's the eye, which I just painted earlier today. So that's kind of a sneak peek on that a little bit. But yeah, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Please, please, please watch it till the end, see how it goes. And also any thoughts and suggestions on what you think, how you think that this should be ended. So, without further ado, let's get on to weaving. Alright guys, so you can see that I did just a little bit of weaving. That's probably what, about a ½ inch or something like that. I did end up having to put my clamp on there because holding those wires, man, my hands were starting to hurt. But excuse me. But as dense as this was, I decided that I was going to stop right there. I like the weave, and somehow I was changed it. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I do that, but I did. But I decided I was going to do something a little different. That I wanted to do something different, but I wanted to keep what I had on here. And I just wanted to show you guys that way. If you wanted to follow along and you wanted to try to make the same thing, that you could. So I think from here what I'm going to do, because I do still have all this, and remember, this is roughly the center of the base wires. So we're still working on this portion, and I think of this weave, this is probably really literally the only spot that I'm going to have this on. So just going to continue on with this right here, and I think what I'm going to do is kind of a 2-2 weave. I think something like that. I'm just going to come up and then up and around. So I came up behind, I started right here. I came up behind the bottom two, come around between these two, and then back and around between the top two, okay, and then back down between these, back up right here between those. Let's see, how does that look? It just looks like a larger version of a modified of whatever this is. I want to keep wanting to call it a modified sumac, but I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know the names of any of the weaves. I've learned them, but that's it. So I think, yeah, I think we'll just continue on with that. And actually, I'm doing this part wrong too. I want to go down one more. Eek. And see, I'm getting it twisted. There we go. Okay, so I actually want to take, I want to keep, need to remember to keep my work on camera. Keep wandering off. So through, if you noticed, I went through these two. I'm going up between the top two, back down under the very last one, but between the middle two. That's not as dense. That's not too bad. But I think I'm still going to change it up. I'm still going to change it up. I know I can't make up my mind. But I'm going to come up between these two, and then behind and between this one. I think I'm going to do kind of like a fire weave, I guess you could call it. I don't know exactly, again, what they're called, but this is just what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to change it up a little bit. I don't want to do, and actually I am keeping on the same weave, because I see that now. So I went, I went around these two. Now I'm going to go around the middle two. Which a lot of times when I do this particular weave, I'll usually do twice around these two, and then twice around these two, and then twice around these two, or however many. But I think for this, since I'm just doing once, I'm just going to keep it going for a little bit. So you can see a little bit there how that's working. Try to keep it nice and compacted. And it is really hard to not hit the camera and stay on frame and everything while working, I have to say. I will be getting another tripod arm here very soon, because one of these days I'll show you guys the setup I have now, which is still fairly new to me. And I love it Don't get me wrong, I love it because it does gets the camera much closer to my desk. It's much closer to my work. I have plenty of light this way. I can see what I'm doing, and I do find it to be a good bit easier to stay on camera. But I need something that's just a little further away, and this will only go so far. So, yeah. I think I'm going to get one of those tripod arms that will clamp to the desk, and it would move a good bit. But just keeping up with this. So now you can see the difference in the two weaves. And I think I am going to keep going with this one for a good little bit. Not sure how much exactly, but I'm just going to keep going. And when I get to a good spot, I think I will stop and then restart this for you guys, show you where I'm at, and show you what we'll do. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I'm back, and when I left, I was working on this section right here. I ended up deciding instead of doing single, I was going to do a little bit of double. So I only did a little bit on this side, and then I come over here, and you can see where I ended right here, and I did some double over here. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to take our bead, our largest one, which is this one right here. It is a Jasper. And I'm going to take real quick, first off, I'm going to take the our wires. You're going to push them in as tight as you can because you want to turn it. This is what I'm doing. You're just watching me, you know. So I'm just turning it just like that, and I think that's more than enough. Yeah, and I think I could get it a little tighter. I don't know. Which I also want to keep these separate from each other. All right, because what I want to do, what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna thread the weaving wire through each side. Let's see, where's this coming out at? Okay. And I should have turned it the other way around. Because I just realized that. No, I didn't. No, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just coming up between here. And I don't want it to. Don't do that. Please don't do that. There we go. There we go. So right here's the end of my wire. So now I'm going to thread it through this end. Okay, so now they're both coming through either side of the bead. And I have to get off camera just a little bit. I'm sorry. So we're just going to continue getting it on down here. Try not to get the wire to tangle at all. Which has a lot more space right here. Whoops. There's a lot more space right here than what I really wanted. But you do what you do. You do what you can do. But that's okay, because I think we can possibly utilize this to put more of something there. So at this point, I want to make something a little less. So I'm going to take away, let's see, I think I'm going to take away this center wire. Let's see. Again, just trying to keep everything nice and tight, along with I want to keep these good and tight so that either side of this is touching the bead, essentially. So I think for right now, I'm just gonna do something like that, and then I think I'm gonna do the same thing with this side. I'm gonna do that, okay. And I think for the moment, I'm going to loop that around, pull it through. That keeps that side decently tight. And this one needs to come up and over. Whoops, sorry. And then, let's see, needs to come down. And then I'm going to have to get the end of my wire, which is still long on this side. Pull it through, same way. And it's actually starting to get tangled up. And it's kinking. Oh gosh. Alright, let's try this. Oops, and it kinked again. Oh Lord. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can salvage it. Yay, I think we can. Let's see. How about that right there? There we go. Alright, so now you can do different things. You can do, literally, you can do whatever you want to, really. I mean, you're working on this, not me. I'm working on this, but you're working on whatever you're working on. Or you're just watching and saying, sorry, you're crazy, you're stupid. But I'm going to pull these back out of the way a bit more so that they're not in the way, because I want to work on these. And I'm actually going to straighten them out. Try to straighten that curve out a bit. And I think, let's see. I'm trying to also keep these two fairly tight against the side of that bead. And I think I'm going to do a little bit, get that straight out. I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 coils. I'm going to do 4. 4 coils on the bottom. I don't know why this wire does not want to straighten up and stay straight. So I'm coming out from behind, and I'm actually going to come up and over between the top two. At this point, it is a little difficult to get my nail right there really well, because the bead is kind of in the way. And I'm going to come up, whoop, a second time, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and do 2 on all 3. Okay. Between the top 2. Twice, and then I'm going to do another 4 times, keeping my weaving wire fairly tight. That's 2. That's 3. Oop. Get out of the way. And then I get it kinked. Okay, yeah, that's 3, and then this one will make 4. So I think I'm going to do that a few times, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so as I said, I did 2 on this side. I went ahead and I did 2 on this side, and I'm going to take my nylon jaws and I'm going to flatten those down really good real quick. So here is where we come in with our next largest size again. And let's see, this does need to be coming up in between these. I'm going to thread on this one, and I think this time I'm going to go ahead and thread it down and then find this end and thread this side on, which actually I'm about to make another boo-boo because this side needs to be, oh, I don't want that one. This needs to be coming from that way. Oops. Don't you just love this? It's so entertaining, isn't it? No. Let's see, because I don't want that to happen. I want that. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Now again, it's going to come in tight. Okay. And just like I've said, I'm just making this up as I go. Okay. I don't know 100% what I'm doing. I'm just making. Okay. So at this point, what I will do is I'm going to take this side and I'm going to wrap it once, actually twice, around this base wire to keep it, to try to keep it tight. Which I'm actually also going to do that. And I'm going to do the same thing around this one. That's once. Yeah, right there. And then that's twice. So that'll keep all of this tight together. Okay, and it's not quite as tight as I want it to be. That's good enough, though. It's okay. So now at this point, I think I'm going to take out the two outermost wires instead of the innermost wires. And this is my longer side of my weaving wire. So I think what I will do is this one I'm going to do a 2-2 weave. I'm genuinely going to do a 2-2 weave. But I'm going to do something different because instead of keeping going like I have been, I do still have one more bead that I need to add, but I'm going to do something different with that one instead of like we're doing. But I'm going to do, and actually instead of a 2-2 weave, I'm going to do a 3-3. So it's slightly more open. Move those out of the way. So I've got those three wraps, and then I'm going to wrap, and of course I'm doing this upside down because otherwise I'd have to use my left hand, and I am not left-handed. So keeping that fairly tight. Excuse me. And then, see, then something like this happens, and it's just like, because you don't want these two wires to get too close to each other, because then it'll do just like that did, which I'm not sure if you can see. It kind of left, I don't know, it's not letting this last wire right here get nice and tight and up close like I want it to be, because these two are too close down there. So be mindful of that. You want to keep it nice and tight and looking neat and everything, but you don't want to get it too tight like I just did. Oops, that didn't go through. So, and this one makes 3. All right. And then, so here's where I messed up on this one. Stay on frame. So I pulled it really nice and tight, and I don't want to do that. I want to keep them with a little bit. So I'm not pulling, but I am keeping the wire straight. And see, that one just then did so much better. So, okay. I'm going to keep this up for a few inches, and then I'll meet you back. And I don't know what I'll do with that side yet, so I'm not going to do anything with that. But I'm going to keep this part up for a few inches, okay? All right. So, I kept going with whatever it was I was doing, which was this one. It was the 3-3 weave. And dummy on me, I just kept going. I kind of got into a rhythm a little bit, but I didn't get too far, luckily. You see, I ended up weaving 2.5, 3 inches. It ends, I'm gonna end up hitting my camera, and I'm trying not to. I've got it ending right here, so I'd say probably about 2 inches, 2.5, something like that. But you see, then I snaked it around, and I do have it coming out from behind here. And then I did start doing, I don't know what kind of weave this is called exactly. I'm trying to get it up where you can see. But basically, okay, so I've got 2 around both right here. So then at this point, I will do, whoops, no, put that in between. I'll do 2 wraps on the bottom, or 2 coils or whatever. Then I will do 2 on the top. And I come up and over for that. Get it nice and tight. And then I go down and over both twice for this. Oh, try not to overlap it. There we go. All right, and get it good and condensed and everything. And then back for another 2 on the bottom, then another 2 on the top, and then 2 on both. And what I will probably end up doing, because I have not decided exactly what all is going on here, I'm just kind of winging it. I may just loop this around, maybe feed it like through here or something. I'm not sure yet. And I do still have this one last Jasper bead to add to it. I was thinking about like placing it like here or something. Woo, where'd it go? Like placing it here somehow, maybe. I'm not sure just yet, but I'm gonna definitely just kind of keep going and see how things go. You can tell this is not attached because it's moving, but I did kind of want it fairly tight against those beads. Just because that's the kind of look that I was going for. I don't know if any of you have seen or know what I'm even talking about, but this is kind of loosely based upon, oh my gosh, what's her name now? I just blanked on her name. But there's a woman on here who had made some tutorials. And I apologize that I've forgotten her name right off the top of my head right now. But she does a lot of work with just a lot of wires and weaving. I've seen her work. She sometimes will add beads, she sometimes add cabs, this and that. But just a lot of different styles of weaving and swirling it together and everything. So it's kind of based upon her work, but it's not exclusive. So, you know, I'm not like copying anything she does. I'm just kind of using her and her work as sort of an inspiration to just come up with something myself. So I hope she doesn't take offense to it. And I don't know why I didn't think about this, but I should have probably, when feeding this around, I probably should have fed it behind here, maybe through up the back. I don't know, but I think I'm just going to leave it for it as it is right now. So I'll probably finish doing a bit more because I am kind of running a little low on this weaving wire. You see it's only probably about 6-7 inches long right now. So I won't get too much more done with that. And then, like I said, I'll probably like somehow like wrap it around or something. Still got to decide what I want to do with some of these extras. I may just take some more of my weaving wire and probably just coil it up just to give it slightly different look, because I wanted to leave a wire or two just bare, but I don't want to leave too many. And I do still need to figure out what to do with these. The antenna right now. That's what I'm going to call them. They're the antennas. It's an alien. No. Hey, it could be. You never know. But so, I think for this part of the tutorial, I think we're going to go ahead and leave it at this. And in the next tutorial, we will pick back up somewhere from here and keep going and hopefully finish it up. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for keeping up. If you have any thoughts or ideas on this specifically, or on any of my work, on any of the videos that I shoot, anything I can improve, please leave any comments down below, along with your questions, any suggestions, anything like that. Please give it a like and a share. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And you guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Alright, so when we last left, this is where we were at. I finished up the weave here, the 3-3, which, like, right here I realized I put 4, and then right here I realized I did 2 by accident. But either way, and I snaked it around, and I brought it behind this portion of this weave. So I also began working a bit over here, which I did 2 wraps on the bottom wire, 2 wraps on the top, 2 on both, and back and forth, back and forth. So, and I'm kind of starting to run out of wire, as you can see, because that's all that's on this end. So I think what I'll do from here is I will continue this until I'm pretty well done with this part of the wrapping wire, or weaving wire. And then when we come back, I'll have that finished, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do with this. Okay, so it only took a few minutes. You see, I've only got like 3 inches of wire left, something like that. But I did finish it up. I was roughly about here, and I've got it to there. I always make sure I take my nylon jaw pliers and I squish it down really nice, because otherwise, especially when you wrap both, it'll kind of let the weaving wire kind of bubble up, so to speak. So if you like that look, you can keep it like that, but I do like it a little bit more flat. So this did not turn out as long as what I'd hoped it would have been, but you can't always help that. But what we can do is we can put more wire, add more wire to make this longer. And just in case you don't know how to do that, we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to get our 26 gauge back out. Remember, if you have any spools of wire that has this clear, like, clip piece, always keep it. Now, sometimes you may end up accidentally breaking it, which I've done several times, but it happens. One thing you can do, you can leave it on the spool if you want to. I don't like to do that, it's just a personal preference. But make sure you get plenty of wire out. I'm not cutting off any set definition of length. I just pull off about what I feel would work. Although if you're doing anything like this, you can definitely measure how much you want and work from there. And also, earlier in the video, I was trying to figure out the name of the person who makes jewelry, who does different weaves and different things like that, and I remember her name is Nichole Hanna. So, Nichole Hanna, if you happen to watch this, I'm not trying to duplicate something that you have made. I don't think you've made anything like this that I've seen, but, you know, it's just, you've inspired me to try to do something like this. That's all it is, so, yeah. Hopefully you don't get mad about it. But I'm going to start off up here, and this way I've got a little bit of room, and what I'll do later is, after I get enough of it done, I'll push it down to here. So I'm just going to start off. I ended with 2 wraps just on this bottom wire alone. So I'm going to do the 2 wraps up here, and then I'm going to push it down and continue on. So sometimes when you start, it doesn't want to really get compacted very well. So that's when I like to bring in some pliers and get it nice and tight. So at this point, this is when I would actually wrap both. So I'm going to go ahead, push this on down, kind of use the tail right here to help hold it still. And then go ahead, whoops, I pulled it. Do my 2 around both. And then back to doing the single around the bottom. In which I've actually wrapped it slightly differently, and I actually got 3. Whoopsie. That's okay. That's one thing when you're doing anything like this, you always do want to make sure you keep an eye on what you're doing, and because accidents like that do happen, you know. And I realize I really only have 1 wrap around that top one, but that's okay, because that's part of the reason why you do want a little bit of a tail, because I can go ahead real quick, push this tail in between like that, pull it out, try to get it nice and tight if that's possible. And again, I'll just come back with my pliers, get it nice and tight. Whoops. And then that happens. Flatten that out. And that might be 1 too many, but I'm not really concerned about that too much right there, because we are, you know, essentially we're splicing in a whole new piece of wire. So it's not going to be perfect. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to straighten these wires up a little bit. Right there. Alright. Now, back again on the bottom. And then twice around the top. That's going to be your only issue, is keeping this to stay where you want it to be. And I actually do realize now I have done I somehow have done wrong. That's what it is. I weaved that through and it needs to just come around all the way into the back. That's going to be your other tricky thing too sometimes. At least I do that with mine, is that I'll know what the weave is that I'm doing, but yeah, I'll get sort of confused. And I know you're, how do you do that? But I do that. I don't know why. But so now that I've got plenty of weaving wire, and I've got more that's what's shown. Oops. Oh, I keep shaking it. I'm so sorry, guys. But anyway, I'm going to continue on several more inches. Hopefully this will get to around about here. I don't know. And then we will come back, and that's when we will do our little finagling with it. Alright, so I am back, and you can see I really didn't do that much more weaving to this, because I realized I probably do have enough for getting it in here somewhere, somehow. But I will be leaving the rest of this on here. We'll be able to use it later for something, but I do want to go ahead and trim off the wire here to get it to tuck down a little bit. So I'm just going to take my pliers as absolutely close as I can, and then I'm going to come around to the back side right here and do the same thing as close as possible. Take my pliers and get it to flatten down. And for this, you probably have to do like I'm doing, because you won't be able to see it, and feel of where that wire is. I want to say it's right. Yeah, it's right there. Oops. Okay. And that's really good. Alright, so now, I was thinking about trying to snake this through right here between the bead, but there might not be enough room. Because essentially I do want, I'm thinking, like I said before, I do want to put this bead up here somewhere somehow. So that may actually require just both of these wires. I'm not sure just yet. But we can definitely take this wire and try to get it to tighten up some. That actually worked really well just then. Alright, so now I think I'm just gonna feed it through here. So that's actually going to mean that I need to take weaving wire, push it through first. So now that I've got that like that, now I'm gonna bring this around the base wires, push it through. Trying to keep my weave flat. That can be difficult sometimes, I know. So pushing that on in. Okay. And now I'm actually going to, let's see, find the end again. Because I just don't want this to get tangled up and confused with it. I think back through here seems to be pretty good. So try to make sure that my wire does not get tangled up or anything at all. So I'm actually just going to push it this way and on up. Oops. And, you know, more of the reason why I'm doing this is not so, oh, hey, you need to make this. It's not that. It's, I want to show y'all what I'm doing. You know, how I'm doing it. I don't know. So that maybe you can get inspiration from it like I have. So this is going to be quite tricky. Let's see. So as for one, I do have my base wires twisted a little, but that's okay. Push it up, so I gotta kind of push it out from here a little bit to get it to go. There we go. I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I can. I think I can. Take my, do that real quick. There we go. Yay! I did it. I really wasn't sure I was going to be able to do that. Push that back out of the way. So now, so now what do we do? Because now that needs to come back up here. Here we go. All right. All right, so now what shall we do? I think I'm going to take my nylon jaws, straighten these out what I can. Whoops. Me and this arm. So that gives a good little, you know, it fills up the holes a little bit at least. I like how that turned out. Having a hard time getting it to tighten up, but that's okay. What shall we do? What shall we do? You know, I think what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to stop right here. Now that I've gotten this far, and you can see I've got the 2 wires from this weave coming out here to the side with a little bit of weaving wire left. I've got these 2 wires that we just pushed through right here. I've got 2 individuals down here, and then I've got the other 2 individuals up here. So I want to ask you, what do you think that I should do? So this will be the end of this video. I want to get your thoughts and opinions on what do you think we can do with the remainder of these wires, especially as well as how do you think that we can attach this bead, whether it's here or elsewhere. I do want to get your thoughts and opinions. Please leave your comments, of course, down below in the comment section. I do want to hear about it. And I do want to get your input. So thank you for watching, and I'll probably give it about a week to see what all y'all's thoughts are for finishing this up. And then I will end up taking those ideas into account and getting this done. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.